It took longer than fans wanted, but Stranger Things Season 4 has arrived. Despite the extra time, there are a few noticeable plot holes. Watch this video to find out more about the sudden change in Eleven's language abilities from Season 1 to 4, and the unusualness of how Vecna picks his victims. Plus, learn about the key moment when Season 4 did the one thing that the creators said the show would never do.
Stop whining, let's go, come on.
This season peels back the curtain to show us more of Eleven's past under the watchful eye of Dr. Brenner. Through the use of flashbacks, more details about her early years are revealed. But as a result, there's also a glaring plot hole that has had fans scratching their heads in bemusement. In Season 1, Elle struggled to speak properly.
Friend? What is friend?
In Season 4, though, she doesn't seem to struggle with any of the words like she did in Season 1, showing off a mighty fine vocabulary.
Who doesn't always tell the truth?
It's, for the lack of a better word, strange. However, there is a fan theory that might help to explain it. Some fans believe that Elle's battle with One might have drained her so much that it impacted the part of her brain that retained her memory of speech. It's certainly plausible and would go a long way to explaining this. Maybe the second part of Season 4 will still address this, because we have some serious questions here. From Eleven's flashbacks, it's clear that there were a lot of children impacted by Dr. Brenner's wicked experiments. It's something that we've known for some time, though, especially when we met Elle's sister, Callie, or also known as 8, back in Season 2. Yet when we see One's rampage or even the rest of the flashbacks, Callie doesn't seem to feature at all. She's completely absent, which is surprising considering how she's already appeared on the show. So is this a plot hole where the writers just kinda forgot about her? Perhaps, or maybe not. Remember, Kali's superpower was an illusion. She could have easily used it to fool everyone into thinking she wasn't there during One's massacre and escaped unharmed. But why didn't she use her powers to help the others then? The other possibility is that Dr. Brenner controlled what Eleven saw in her memories, and he didn't want her to remember 8 at all. He's a devious person, and this wouldn't be out of character for him. Don't be surprised if 8 shows up and Brenner tries to keep her a secret from Elle. But let's not move away from Elle just yet, since she features in another puzzling moment from Season 4. Visit our awesome merch shop. We have branded t-shirts, hoodies, eco bags, and even phone cases. You can choose between dozens of unique and awesome designs. Click the link under the video and find your perfect match. Having gone with the buyers to California, Elle tries to form a different life for herself. She's powerless, living in a new city, and now using her real birth name of Jane. It's the perfect new start, right? At school, Will slips up a few times and calls her Elle in front of the others, but no one seems to be too concerned about it. After all, it could simply be a nickname that he has for her. When Mike comes to visit and there's an incident with Elle and the kids from her school, he randomly starts screaming out 11 to get her attention. All the people around him must wonder why he is screaming a number repeatedly. It's made even more convincing when Owens tells Elle that the government has been looking for her and won't give up until they find her. All they need to do is watch the people screaming 11. Then they'll know where she is. The gang certainly needs to be more careful to not say 11 when they are around here. And speaking of the gang, it was good to see them stick by their friend, Eddie Munson. They never believed he was guilty and did everything to prove his innocence. When Eddie runs away, Dustin gets help from Steve and the others to find Eddie before the police do. Finding him doesn't prove to be too hard since they simply looked for the address of the notable dealer, Reefer Rick, in Hawkins, and voila.
Plays your nerdy game.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing that doesn't quite make sense about this. How did Dustin and his friends manage to make that link so quickly and find Eddie while the cops couldn't? If the police had been serious about looking for Eddie, they would have tracked down all his connections and ties, including Reefer Rick. Instead, they relied on children to do the real investigating here. Now, let's talk about Vecna, the new big bad of the show. He possesses some serious power, as he uses psychic ability to take over people's bodies from the upside down. Yet, his way of connecting to the bodies is interesting. He actively sniffs out people who have experienced trauma, then he uses it as a way to enter their minds and end them. There's a problem with this logic though, since everyone has experienced their own fair share of trauma in life. So what does Vecna define as a major trauma? For example, someone might have lost a parent and still struggles with the loss of the loved one every day. And how is that deemed more or less trauma than what Max experienced with the loss of Billy? If we're being technical here, practically everyone on Earth can be a vessel for Vecna, including every single one of the Hawkins gang. They've experienced and seen so much with the Mind Flayer and Demogorgons that they would be prime candidates for his attacks. Yet, Vecna's interest seems to be only in Max out of the group. It's curious. One of the biggest shocks of Season 4 was seeing Hopper and his fellow prisoners having to battle a Demogorgon.
And how do you know these Russians are up to no good anyways?
Well, because it is revealed that the Russians have actually kept the creature and fed it prisoners. While it's a nice full circle moment for Stranger Things fans, it does beg the question, how did the Russians manage to get a hold of a Demogorgon in the first place? Look, we know they were conducting their own experiments from the previous season, but a Demogorgon isn't exactly a poodle that you can keep as a pet. It's a vicious and powerful creature that destroys anything in its path. More importantly, these Russian guards weren't exactly the smartest or most competent, as they were continuously fooled by Hopper and the others. Does anyone really believe they'd be able to keep a Demogorgon on a tight leash? Especially if it was hungry and wanted to sink its teeth into someone? Let's be real here for a second. There's simply no way that anyone in the camp would have survived with a Demogorgon around. It's next to impossible, unless you have 11 in your corner.
All the time.
True story. Now, here's a plot hole that has more of a real-world implication and contradicts what the creators have said before. In a recent interview, the Duffer Brothers said they need to end Stranger Things before it hits the point in the 80s where Winona Ryder became a global star. It might be a little too much of breaking the fourth wall to refer to pop culture references such as Beetlejuice that featured Winona, then have Joyce appear on screen. It makes sense when you think about it. So then, why did they break this rule with Victor Creel in Season 4? Victor was portrayed by legendary horror actor Robert Englund, whom many people may know as Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yet Stranger Things broke the fourth wall when a cardboard cutout of Freddy Krueger was at the entrance of the family video store where Steve and Robin worked. Surely for Robin, she must have known who Freddy Krueger was and the actor who played him. Then, upon meeting Victor, she must have thought, Victor looks a lot like the guy from Nightmare on Elm Street. Sure, Robert might have had a small role in the grand context of things, but it was still important. Who knows, maybe Season 5 of Stranger Things will reveal that A Nightmare on Elm Street is part of a shared universe and Victor is actually Freddy. That would be a welcome twist for every horror fan.
Ooh, I just got the chills.
Now that we've taken a trip to Hawkins and the Upside Down, let's take another journey into the real world and explore the real-life partners of the Stranger Things cast. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome. Support ASA by sending us super thanks. Just click on the thanks button under the video and choose an amount to donate. Stay awesome, and remember, we value each one of you.